Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals, and I have got another completed journal flip through to share with you. Always so exciting. I love filling up a journal and seeing it all filled up with every single page done. Oh, so good. Feels so good. So I made this journal out of an envelope that I just folded in half and collaged on the front and back with all different types of vintage papers and a little floral sticker here, and I added some tissue paper over the entire thing as well. On the inside I just put some music paper. So this journal was actually my Messy May journal for 2023. The first time I did Messy May was last year. I really enjoyed it. It was my first time kind of really going into art journaling in a consistent way, at least. And it was very much out of my comfort zone. I was like, what am I even doing? A lot of my pages I wasn't happy with. They were quite ugly, let's just say, but I had fun just doing the practice. It wasn't about creating perfect pages. It's what Messy May for me is just trying new things and giving new techniques a go, new materials a go, and less so much about writing thoughts down or memories down, more about visual journaling and more having fun with the materials themselves and the techniques themselves. And I was using Messy May this year as a creative practice to go alongside the bookmaking course I'm doing. And so this was giving me new skills and tools to use in the book if I wanted. So I kind of was using this as an inspiration board. And my favorite pages in here, I want to revisit as inspiration for pages in my book, which will be a visual memoir. So my book will kind of look like an art journal or junk journal / scrapbook. And so, this was, well, actually, I didn't do this in chronological order, so just go check. It is day one. Okay, cool. So I just put the details in the front there. Day one, I wrote down the prompt for each day. So the prompts for this day was new, and this was just a note to self. Don't worry about how the page will look, just have fun creating. Enjoy the process. Process over product, let go, lose control, imperfect is desired. Joy and beauty in creating and imperfection. And again, this was all about using the things. So my motto for the year, using all of those pretty papers and pieces that I've been saving or hoarding. So this stamp here, the fox, I love that. The fox became my symbol in 2021. And so, I've got this little tag here, this interactive pocket. Pay attention to my inner and outer world, I wrote on there. That's what journaling is for me. It helps me to pay attention to what's going on inside of me. Day 2 is expand. So I expanded the page by adding a tag, which I don't usually like doing. I love, in theory, interactive elements, but in practice, I don't like pulling things out. So over here, again, using the things. I've been hoarding some of these pieces. Expand perspective and expand creativity. That was something I was doing Messy May for as well. I really like this page. It's a complete mess, and that's why I love it. The pages that I like most in this journal are the ones that are more chaotic and more different to what I've ever done before. So this one I wrote some journaling and then I ripped it up and put it on the page. And that's a good option if you do have some sort of more difficult, darker feelings or thoughts and you don't necessarily want people to read them, or you don't want to read them again. You can rip them up and still incorporate them in your pages. So in my book, I'm actually going to have a page where I will have ripped up pieces. So that's the technique I will use. But actually, I had done that before this page, and I just revisited that in this journal as well. A lot of art journalists do mark making, these little dots and lines and things and some messy scribbles. I'm really bad at it, and I'm not a huge fan of mark making, to be honest. And I wonder if that's just because I'm not used to it yet, or if it's out of my comfort zone, or if it's actually just something I don't enjoy. And that's something I want to do Messy May for too as well, and continue art journaling because what it does is it teaches you what you like and what you don't like. So just try everything, and maybe try it multiple times until you know if you like it or not. Because one time you don't know it, you're like, I don't know if I like this. And that's what the bookmaking course teaches us as well. It's to do the things that you naturally are drawn to. Sometimes we don't know what that is until we try it, or try it multiple times. And I'm really hoping mark making and doing messy lines is my thing, is something that I can become my thing, because so many art journalists do it. But I'm just like, oh, I feel so stupid making these marks, and it's not doing anything for me. I'm like, this isn't really fun for me. But again, if I get comfortable with it, eventually maybe I'll transition and be like, oh my gosh, I love mark making now. So I'll persist, I'll keep going. But for now, I'm just like, doesn't really do anything for me. I'm doing it, I'm going through it. But what the bookmaking course is teaching us, like, you'll know the feeling. Pay attention to the feeling when you create, is what they say. So it's not about what you create and how beautiful it is or how perfect. It's only about the feeling of creating. If you're enjoying it, and if you're like in the zone and in the flow, that's what matters. And so mark making does not get me in the flow. Painting doesn't really get me in the flow, which in the bookmaking course, they talk a lot about painting and that being the thing that gets a lot of people in the flow. And I'm just like trying to push through. I'm like, I wish this painting thing was my thing. But I think I found my thing, and it's collage, which is crazy because I never used to be a collager. I've always been like a scrapbooker, but in terms of like collage, proper collage, overlapping things, well, my very first collages were terrible. But that's what I mean. I did it over and over again to now where I'm like, I love collage. I can just get lost in the process. And that's the thing. I'm having so much fun, and I don't care how it looks, because I am just so lost in the process, in my own little world, just in a moment of bliss. And whatever's on the page doesn't matter, because I had fun doing it. Anyway, that was a tangent. This is a chatty video. Okay, now this is an example of a page that is my normal comfort zone. This is more like my junk journal style. Just put one thing on the page, something that I love, and I really don't like it in this journal. It looks so boring and bland. But this was me trying to use the things, each of these 3 things I'd pulled aside, and I was like, yes, I love those things. So I was like, that's how I normally journal, is I just put my favorite things on a page and then write all the stuff. But this, I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is so boring. This is not art journaling here. And part of me wishes I could take this out of the page, but this is a good lesson. I didn't do another page like this, although I did, you'll see. This one, I love this one. I absolutely love this one. I want to try and recreate this in the book for one of the page spreads. I absolutely love this. It's just magical. It's me. It reminds me a bit of just my magic land that I would dream of when I was a kid. And yeah, I love it. So just do what you love. Like, be the Willow Princess, from note to self. Like, don't worry if other people don't understand the things that you love. I love them. It makes me put a smile on my face. Like, I love crystals, and I love rainbows, and I love glitter, and I love flowers, and I love tiaras and tulle and chandeliers, and I love shiny things. So I'm just going to do what I love now and be the Willow Princess. I love this page so much. I love it. Okay, I quite like this page too, just because it was something different. And there will be a page in my book that will be a patchwork. Maybe not like this, but something like this. This was a fun technique to try. This one, I really like this too. There'll be maybe not a whole page in the book like this, but a section of the page will have little snippets of my favorite pieces. And that just makes me so happy. There's fabric, there's paper, there's scrapbook paper, there's vellum, there's lace, there's stickers. I really love this page because it's like using the things, and a note to self that I don't need to include a huge strip of it. Like, usually my comfort zone is to put a whole piece on the page instead of cutting things up into little pieces. So this is really good to see, like, even the smallest piece can make me happy. So cut things up. I really hate cutting things up. Well, I really don't like cutting things up. So this page too was really fun. So each month, each day in the month of Messy May, a different artist or journaler shares a technique. And so this lady shared this technique, and it's not my cup of tea, but I really love it. I absolutely love it. In terms of like, I probably wouldn't do this again, but it was so fun to do this one time. It was so fun, and I love that this is what this other lady does. I love that that's her cup of tea. I love it, and I'm so thankful that she taught me how to sort of do it, or my version of it. Like, I just love that. This is where I was kind of leaning back into my normal style. This is my junk journal scrapbook style. And again, it's so boring. It's so bland. So this is a good insight for me too, because I want the book to more look like this rather than this. And that's going to be my huge challenge, because this is my default. I'll naturally do this every day, day in, day out. So maybe I will just have to accept if it does look like this, that's okay. But I really want the book to have a lot more energy and a lot more dynamism than just that. But anyway, this wasn't even for Messy May. That's why. Oh, well, it was. But I collaborated with myself. So I cheated. This prompt was to collaborate with, someone else. But I collaborated with myself. And since this is how I do pages, I just did what I do. So I used a Messy May prompt doing my own version. And I just wanted to capture this photo I took of the sunset and how the sky was like purple on this side and blue on that side. And I was like, I love that. I love that nature does that. And God paints the sky in blues and purples and rainbows and light. His beauty saves my soul. I love this page too. I really like it. I would love to revisit this in the book as well. It kind of reminds me of ocean and bubbles. I don't know. It just looks so alive and fun and bright and happy. I love it. I love it. This one, I think I was repeating too much. I've got like a few pages like this now. So I was always drawn to the same things. So it's not sort of like another patchwork page. But yeah, I'll do something with the patchwork in the book, like I said. This one, it's a bit of an eyesore, but I love it all the same. Just because, again, it was something different for me and extended me, and I love it. I want to do pages with collage and paint, which is so out of my comfort zone because I'm so worried that I'm going to ruin the collage, because I love doing the collage part, but when I put the paint down on top afterwards, I'm like, oh no, what if I ruin it? And I'm not as comfortable with paint. That's why, I guess. And so when I feel free and loose and in my element with collage, and then I start to feel locked up and restricted and afraid when I paint, I want to get to a place where I can be free and loose with paint. So I think I just have to keep doing it over and over again until I get to that place. This was at a time where Friday nights I would write like the entire night from like 5 to 12 p.m. or a.m., 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. And that's where I do the bulk of my writing, because I don't do well writing an hour a day. That's not me. I need a whole chunk of time. That's how I do things. And so same with creating. I'm not very good at creating for an hour a day. I need to create 10 hours in one day. That's how I work. And so Saturdays became my creative day. Instead of doing little bits of creating each day, I blocked out Saturday for my creative day. And that's when I did a lot of my Messy May journalings. And it would be good practice, because before I do my book pages, where they have to be, proper pages, this would loosen me up. I would often do this first to just play in here first and get me in the creative zone, and then I'd move on to the pages. This was really fun too. It's so sweet. It was just a simple exercise of drawing a flower, like you see it, draw it, but without looking at what you're drawing. You're looking at the flower, not your drawing. And I really had fun with it. I like that. I just like the messiness of it. Really sweet. Now this one, oh my goodness. I've been sharing these pages over on my book Instagram account, And this one was just so popular. And I'm like, why? I don't particularly like it, but I don't like all it. See, this is the mark making. I'm not into mark making at all. The collage, love the collage, love this part here. This, I don't know what's happening there. But because so many people were commenting on it, and told me, this is so different from you, and it made me look at it with fresh eyes. Like at the start I was like, no, whatever, just another page. But because of all the feedback on it, I was like, oh, I now look at this very differently, and it's like, is this my best work? You guys, I don't know. But it kind of showed me that what I see is different to what other people see. We're own worst critics, right? I just see something terrible, and other people are like, that's amazing. And this really helped me. I've been having so much fun just making color swatches. I could do that all day. Now that's something I really enjoyed, and I didn't know that before doing this. At the time when I did, I was just like, oh yeah, I'll just do this. And then now I'm like loving it. I'm loving just doing color swatches. So there'll be color swatches in my book left and right and center. This one was a little bit more my normal style, junk journal style, which I guess makes sense because the journaler was Meg Journals, and she's a junk journaler, and so it's similar type of thing that we do in our journals. So she does a lot more mark making though, and art journaling. I wasn't game enough to do it. Like I probably would have added some paint and mark making, but I just wasn't in the mood that day, I guess, and just did the collage instead. But you can see what I mean. I don't know if you can actually, but to me this is a bit more boring. If I had added marks and paint, that would liven it up. But what I do love, this is masking tape. There's going to be masking tape left, right, and center in my book as well. If you watch my channel recently or this year, you know how much I love masking tape. And I'm just using it everywhere. I love it on collages. So there's going to be a lot of tape in the book. This one, it was about clusters. So I really like this too. I think I want to revisit this. Just so simple. Just find 3 things that you love, cluster them. And see, this was me again doing the little swatches. I guess that could be called mark making too, on little scraps of paper. I do enjoy that, making little marks on scraps of paper and ripping them up to collage with. I like that rather than marking afterwards. So maybe, yeah, I can work on that. Anyway, I am drawing my cat each day. I think I'm up to about day 20, which is really fun. I'm hoping to do 100 days. And currently loving watercolors. I just really want to get better at watercolor and learn. I love learning, like I say all the time. The feeling of learning is one of the best feelings ever for me. And very inspired by the Cottage Fairy. I can't watercolor like her at all. But I hope with more practice, and I'm considering maybe even watching some tutorials and taking some classes or whatever, and just because I'm enjoying it. I'm finding what I'm enjoying. I'm really enjoying the slowing down. It helps me slow down, and it's sort of a calming practice for me, watercolor. When life feels really overwhelming and busy, I've turned to watercolor as my outlet just to slow down and find my center again. But I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I would like to actually get better at this and not just have it as my own little practice to slow down. I want to actually be able to draw something that looks like something now with the watercolor. So I'm trotting that up. But all to say, yeah, through all of this art practice, I'm finding the things that help me, that soothe me, that I enjoy. And that's what this is all about. Not everything that I'm doing in this Messy May journal or any of my art journaling is fun for me. It's a lot of the time out of my comfort zone and very scary to me and intimidating, and I feel locked up in like this. But every now and then I'll find something where it's like, oh, this is so fun, and I can just get lost in it. And watercolor is one of those things, and collage is one of those things. So maybe I could combine watercolor with collage, because that's what the bookmaking course teaches us to do as well. Is once you find that thing or those things that you can get lost in, do those, because that's where your pages will come to life and they'll feel most authentic when you do those things that bring you to life. Anyway, I love this. What is the thread running through your life? I just put some threads here from my grandma that were passed down to me, and I love that. I want to do that in my book. We had this free writing prompt, and I actually might save this page for a faith journal video, or a faith video, because I know lots of you love the faith videos and request them, and or only watch those ones. So I might save this for you guys and dedicate it to you. So here, again, this is me. I just love swatching things and the joy of experimenting with different materials, the peace of spending a little time in quiet. And it doesn't matter if you make mistakes, that's the thing. It's just about spending that time creating and noticing and expressing yourself, and it's for my soul survival. And even just a simple drawing like this really made me feel seen. The lonely flowers, that night that I drew this, I was just feeling a bit lonely. And these flowers look a bit sad and wilted and droopy. And that's kind of how I felt. And so this just really felt validating to me to see my feelings reflected back to me. And this was actually a mistake. I went to draw a whole series of flowers, and this was a mistake one. And then I added this because that's how it made me feel. And I was like, I love how mistakes can be wonderful. This is just a random page of washi tape swatches. So pretty. And again, I didn't do all of the prompts. I just did the ones that were speaking to me at the time, and then the other pages I just filled in with random things that I wanted to, I didn't have a place for, so I just had a landing page here for them. Just different artwork that I've done, and photography and words, and this princess dress. There's a whole story with that. But that's me being a princess and claiming the willow princess. I would go under the willow wearing this dress, pretending I was a princess, and gathering different photos from my life. And this was just a list of the things that I'm working on for my book at the moment. Another little collage. I am whole with holes. Just a very simple page, using up pieces just to know, that with our brokenness and with our darkness and our weaknesses, we are a whole person still, even though we might not feel like it. This was me claiming being a willow princess. This was my moment, right? Just like, I love sparkles, I love blue, I love stars, I love silver, I love tulle. Even though this picture isn't like princessy, it's of an era, and it reminds me like the cottage fairy has her whole cottage aesthetic. I want the princess aesthetic. I want to dress like a princess. I want to live like a princess. I want to decorate like a princess. I want to craft like a princess. So this was my page. This is actually quite meaningful and significant for me, because it was my final moment, or the first moment I was just like, I'm going to claim it. I am the willow princess. I am a princess. It doesn't matter what anyone says. If they're like, you're not really a princess, like, I know I'm not a real royal princess or whatever, but in spirit I am a real princess. In that I love sparkles and lace and tulle and magic. The magic of beauty, the magic of creativity, the magic of imagination. Anyway, I feel like maybe I need a page like that in my book, a princess page. I don't know. I love this. So, a little side note, I'm making little index cards as well. I want to do like a 100-day index card project too. Obviously, I'm not doing it in 100 days chronologically, but if I can make 100 index cards. See, look, this is me again. I love doing that, and I only discovered that through doing Messy May. So I love collage, so I'm doing collage, and then some with paint, and I'm going to try and put sentiments on all of these with little things like this, because I come up with these all the time. My whole life I've come up with little catchphrases that are just encapsulating what I'm learning and things that I want to always remember. And so I want to gather them all. I want to gather 100 of them, I think, and put them onto these cards, and then maybe frame them or put one on my desk that I need to remember. And yeah, I'm so excited to do that. So excited to do that. And this is one of them that I want to put on a card. Shine through the darkness, shine through the chaos and darkness, light always wins. Meaning we can always shine through chaos and darkness, but also there is so much in the world that shines through the chaos and darkness that we can witness and see and find and document and share. Light always wins. I love this page. Again, this was just a technique that I followed by one of the artists, and I love it. I love it so much. This page, I don't actually know what I'm going to write on there yet. I just stuck these little circles here that I'd painted and cut out, and I'll write something there, maybe some catchphrases when they come to me. Or I was going to write an ending here. Oh, that's what I was going to do actually. Now it's coming back to me. I was going to write my reflections on Messy May on this journal. So I will do that off camera. But what I'll basically write is how I just loved experimenting and found some new techniques that I want to use, especially for my book, and just learning about the things that make me get into the zone. Maybe I'll make a list of those things, like the swatching of colours on scraps of paper, collage, like really identifying that collage is my happy place at the moment, and watercolour as well. So I hope you enjoyed that flip through. I am loving this. Again, all of these pages I believe I did off camera, because this year I just feel like I want to live that simpler, smaller, slower life, just creating for my eyes only, for my own well-being, and happy to share the finished flip through. Look at, I just love it. Oh, I love it. And I'm very excited to start my new art journal, and I'm not sure which one I'll choose yet. I have these three here, or I have this one. I feel like I don't want to do this one straight away. They're very similar. I love that it says piano. I have to put Susan's paint chip in here that says grand piano. Okay, that's perfect for this. Yay. But I haven't got any pages in these ones yet, so I want to fill those up with pages and turn those all into journals, and then I'll choose which one I use next. I feel like I want to do this one next. That one's speaking to me. Alright, I'm going to fill that one up, and then I'll do a flip through of that once all the pages are in there. Thanks so much for watching. I love these journals. They're so fun. I hope it inspires you or encourages you to art journal. Maybe try something new. Let me know a technique that you love using, or your favorite technique that you love using, and I will see you guys in the next video. A big thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in July. I literally cannot do this without you, so it means the absolute world to me. If you would like to support me for the month of August, feel free to head on over to my Patreon. The link is down below in the description box, and that is where you get access to extra videos, the Make a Journal With Me series, and the sneak peeks to my journals and creations, and first access for all of those, plus printables, every digital kit in my Etsy, and mail tiers, and lots of fun goodies over there. You are also welcome to donate through PayPal or buy me a coffee as a once-off thing anytime. Thank you so much for all of your support and for being here with me on this creative journey.